I'm here to give my official prediction for the Terence Crawford, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight. Now, as we all know, that fight has not been finalized. I think they probably already was making their fucking attempts, probably behind the scenes, a while now. I think that's what they've been doing. Could be wrong. There's always the possibility things could get in the way, but we're gonna keep it positive. We're gonna keep putting that positive energy out there, and this fight is coming. So I remember a couple of videos ago I had said I thought the fight was gonna happen 2022 at the end of the year, like November. So look for that fight sometime between September and November. October will be a nice sweet spot because you got Halloween. I think that would be a dope time to have a fight, depending on what day Halloween fall on or something like that. It'd be dope. Now let me say this before I get into the prediction, because I already know what a lot of people are gonna say, that I am biased towards Terence Crawford. I'm not. I ride with Terence Crawford. That's just one of my favorite fighters out there. I still like Errol. Errol is also one of my top fighters, believe it or not. I know a lot of y'all not going to believe that. But I'm not biased towards Bud. I'm just giving y'all what I see. Everybody see things different. We got different lenses. We're going to look at things different. And my prediction is based on past fights and it's based on recent fights. So I come up with that based on those things. I'm not gonna try to make this that long at all. Pretty much, you got Terence Crawford, good footwork, excellent counter puncher, decent body puncher, good power in both hands, good speed, excellent ring IQ. Got Errol Spence Jr., great body work, good on the inside, good power, minimal footwork. Defense is, I always said it. I thought his defense was a little shaky, but when you look at Errol Spence's defense, it's not the worst. It's absolutely not. He actually has good defense, man. It's just that sometimes he gets irresponsible and he drops his hands when he's not supposed to, or he gets a little bit too anxious. That's the same thing that happens with Terence Crawford. They both share that trait where they can get anxious sometimes. But one thing I don't see Bud do a lot, or if at all, is overthrow his punches. I see Errol, he did that with old guys. He would throw a left and he'd be like left like this. And that's a bad position to be in against somebody like Terence Crawford. Sometimes he drops his hands and he drops them when he's not supposed to. Can't do that against Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford doesn't really have that much. His inside game ain't really up to the skill of Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a much better inside fighter, in my opinion. It's going to come down to who could take each other's powers. That's going to be one of the factors in this fight. This is a highly dangerous fight for both of these dudes, and that's what makes the fight so interesting, because you know what both of these dudes bring to the table. They both bring things to the table, different weapons that can potentially stop the other person. Errol Spence could stop Terence Crawford with those relentless body shots. And now I guess it's going to be a thing now. They're going to think Errol's going to be running around breaking everybody's faces. And that's not the case, man, because if it was like that, he would have been breaking everybody's faces from back then. And it's just not the case. He broke Kell Brook's eye, and I already gave my opinion on that. That was because Triple G gave him some help. That's honestly how I feel about that one. The old guys one was all Errol. You know what I'm saying? I give him, that's all his, the eye jam he gave old guys, that's all Errol, man. Nobody helped him with that. So, you got to be able to stand there and get punched on for him to actually break your eye. You got to really be standing there not moving and not blocking correctly for him to break you and fracture your ribs. That's the thing. I always said movers are nightmares for people that's stationary or people that have minimal footwork. I think movers are fucking nightmarish for them, bro. Like, you see how well Shakur Stevenson moves? He's gonna be a nightmare for people that have punching power, that don't like to fucking track you, that want to track you down and have no real footwork. Like, Shakur Stevenson would be a nightmare for like an Isak Cruz. Somebody like that, he would pick Isak Cruz apart. You know, what can't these dudes do? What Bud cannot do is go in there. Bud, he likes to fight, bro. He's a dog. He likes to fight. I think on this one, though, he's going to have to rethink, you know, that whole thing that he has going on, that whole mentality where, oh, I'm going to punch you, and when I get hit, and I'm just going to hit you even harder. That's a good mentality, but you got to know when to do it, when to apply it. I think Terence Crawford has the IQ to understand that, though. You can't do what Ugas did. You can't just go in there and just, you know, do this with Errol Spence. No, don't do that. That's not gonna work, man. And I'm not saying that's what Terence Crawford's gonna do. I'm saying that's not what he should do. But I don't think he's gonna do that anyway. I think he's too smart to even fall for that. I don't think he's gonna do that. You might see that if only time Terence Crawford will probably do that, will stay in the booth with him for a while, is if he can handle Errol's power. If he can take it, if it's not, his body shots ain't really doing much to him, or he's hitting him to the head and it's not really doing much to Terence Crawford, and he's not gonna sit there and take a bunch of them anyway. But what I'm saying is, he's gonna sit there long enough to get some good work in and get out. That's a very bad idea for Terence Crawford to stand there and just slug it out with Spence in the middle of the ring. That's not Terence Crawford's soft sweet spot, is inside work. It's just not. He got good inside work, but it ain't the best. Maybe he should brush up on his inside work. If he's gonna go in there and try to fight fire with fire a little bit with Errol, I think Terence Crawford should. He probably already has good conditioning to his body. I've never seen Terence Crawford hurt to the body. I'm not sure. I've seen Errol Spence hurt to the body, though. He was including Yordenis Ugas and Danny Garcia. It may have been others. I think Sean Porter might have even hurt him to the body. And if that is the case, you better believe Bo Mack, and Bud and Bernie and all of them, they see that. They know that. They already, trust me, they watching. Just like I believe Derek James and them, they're watching Terence Crawford's fights and they're seeing vulnerabilities. They both studying shit. Trust me, they've been doing. I think they've been doing this for a while, for years. So say it again, Terence Crawford, he cannot go in there and try to make it a brawl with Errol Spence. That's not gonna work. And I already know that's not what Bud's gonna do. He's not gonna do that. He's way too smart. He can hurt Errol Spence in a inside brawl, but I see Errol coming out on top with that one, so it wouldn't be smart for him to do that. What Errol Spence can't do, he can't go in there throwing those looping punches and missing, throwing himself off balance. Terence Crawford is going to find your head every time. He's gonna get hit with some hot shit, bro. I'm telling you, if he does that, he's gonna get hit with hot shit. If he put his right hand down at the wrong time, left hand at the wrong time, or even if they're in the booth, he's going to get stung with something. Terence Crawford has this sneakiest jab, and his jab is like a power jab. And it's he strikes it, and it's just like laser. And it's like a stingray almost. And Errol get hit in the wrong place. You got to take this into consideration. I understand he had a car accident. He looks 100%. But y'all got to understand, bro. I got to understand. He still had a detached retina. I think his teeth are drilled in his mouth. His teeth is drilled in his mouth. So we've got to understand something. You don't have the same teeth no more. You have titanium moving around. Them shits is like stiff and rigid. You know it's easy to break people's jaw when they have those in their mouth. It's not hard to break somebody's jaw. Absolutely, because when you think about it, you got metal drilled into somebody's mouth. and it's going into their fucking, all of this is your jaw, it's your jawbone. And all it takes is you can hit somebody the right way and the metal could it can crack the bone, and all type of shit can go wrong. That's why Derrick James, they got to fix that mouthpiece issue with Errol Spence. They got to get him a better mouthpiece, man. He said that he needed a new mouthpiece. His mouthpiece ain't fitting right. They got to fix that. You got to fix that, because that's a possibility in this fight. I'm not saying it's going to happen. The possibilities that can go wrong with Errol Spence, he can himself get his eye fucking broken. He also can get his jaw broke for the simple, for that one thing I just explained to y'all. He can't afford to go in there doing stuff like that. He can't afford to bull rush Terence Crawford, because Crawford has longer arms. He's gonna hit them piston jabs. Them shit's gonna be coming like hotcakes all night. I'm telling you. So he can't do that. So both of these dudes are gonna have to be extremely careful on how they approach each other, man. Bud should keep it from the outside. He should do a lot of outside work, which he is. He's gonna do a lot of outside work and know when to bring. That's what it's really all about. Know when to bring it back. Know when to bring it in. He's gonna figure out, okay, this is when I should bring it in. You're gonna probably see Terence Crawford try to bring it in a little bit close to Errol early in the fight. You're not gonna see it late, because Errol Spence don't seem like he gets tired towards the end. If you're not really doing no work on him, he gonna keep getting stronger, it seems like. But what I'm starting to notice, I think his punch resistance is waning, bro. I'm not saying he don't have a chin. It looks like he still has a chin. It looks like Errol Spence's punch resistance is waning. Old guys hurt him in the 6th. I've never seen Errol wobble like that. And people keep bringing up the mouthpiece thing, the punch he did after the mouthpiece fell out. No. What about the punch before the mouthpiece fell out? What led to the mouthpiece to get knocked out his mouth? It was a punch from old guys. And this is supposed to be a pillow-fisted guy with only 12 knockouts, right? I've never seen Errol hurt like that. And I'm not talking about the punch when the ref said stop and all of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what initially knocked the fucking mouth guard out of his mouth. He got hit with some hot shit from old guys, and you seen Errol on noodle legs. I'm not making this up. Go 6th round is right there. Go look at it. He popped him a few times in that fight, stunned him a few times, but that one shook him and rattled him. And it's questionable if Bud would have hit him with that, what would have happened? We don't know. See, he was a little defensively irresponsible right there. But this is boxing, man. You're not going to always be perfect. But see, that's the thing. You got to try to be as perfect as you possibly can when it comes to these two dudes, man. I think both of them, they're going to have to be on the extreme A game for different reasons, man. Bud is going to have to be on the extreme A game. Errol's going to have to be on this extreme A game. But here's my prediction for this fight. Before I give you it, it's going to look similar to... It's going to look like you're going to see Crawford moving around in there, frustrating Errol, I think. I think he's going to frustrate Errol, and then he's going to hit him with something, bro, hot. And then he's not going to see it, and I think that's going to be the decision maker in this fight. It's going to be early on, you're going to see a lot of close range fighting, because I think Bud going to try to fill him out early to see what he can handle from him. If you feel like he can't handle something from him, he gonna start the outbox and then try to put some outward pressure on him, and then understand when he got to come in and put some pressure. Because Bud is going to put pressure on him, but Errol's going to put more pressure on Bud. Errol's not going to be able to get Bud on the ropes like he did Danny Garcia, Kell Brook. That's not going to happen with Terence Crawford. Only way that might happen is if he manages to get to Bud, catches him with something and fucking fracture his ribs where he becomes immobile. But I just think even then Bud is probably too skillful and too much dog to even let that happen to himself. So I'm not sure that'll even happen, but we never know. But I see Errol trying to chase him around and get caught by something big, bro. That's what I see happening. Initially, I had it going to the cards. I don't see this fight going to the cards, bro. Somebody's going to get knocked out in this fight. It could be Terence Crawford, but you know how I feel about that. I don't think that's going to happen, especially after seeing the Ugas fight. Errol looked phenomenal when Ugas wasn't doing nothing. But when Ugas was throwing that heat, he looked a little suspect to the chin. If you want to talk about Bud and the Mean Machine thing, and they keep harping on that, because you know what? Now everybody's bringing up what happened in round 6, and now you're gonna start seeing people start talking about Bud and Mean Machine, Bud and Mean Machine. Okay, you saying he got dropped? He didn't officially get dropped. It wasn't listed as a knockdown. I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. Right? No, it wasn't. So my thing is, my prediction, what I think is gonna happen is, I see Errol Spence potentially getting stopped in this fight. I would say between round 7 and 9. Around the same time Porter got stopped. One of those rounds. It might even be worse for Errol, because Errol don't move nearly as good as Sean Porter did. So it might be earlier, man. It might be earlier. I would say round 7 and 9. Yeah. One of those rounds, Errol's going to get knocked out. That's just my opinion on it. Bud has the power to do it. Don't think he don't. He might not be breaking eyes and all of that shit, man, but that doesn't mean he don't got that power to knock some. He done showed you that already. And what I'm saying is, I think his punch resistance is waning, dude. It's waning. I seen it with, but he didn't see no. He didn't see that punch coming when he walked away to get his mouthpiece. He was right up on Ugas when he got punched the first time initially. That led to that situation with the ropes and all of that stuff. So let's not play those games, man. So my prediction, my official final prediction for Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford is Terence Crawford by KO. I'm going to say 8th round KO for Terence Crawford. Just my opinion. Let me know what you think about this fight. That is coming. The upcoming scrap that we all been waiting for. Unification, undisputed matchup at 147 pounds between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. This is Rebel Life Boxing. I'll catch y'all later, and I'm out.